Good day, everyone. This is P. Taylor, or AK Alchemystic Goldmind. Hope everybody's doing well. And first of all, I need to make a sincere apology for not being available or not posting. But it's been a situation where if I'm going to put anything that's interesting on this channel, I have to go learn some things, and that's what I've been doing by virtue of living and experiencing different things. So there's a lot of stuff I need to share with you all. I want this channel to be successful. I want to have a lot of likes, of course, and subscribers and everything else. But and I would like to, make a gain from this channel. But the main thing I have to do is I have to keep my integrity. I could, talk about a lot of subjects, but if there's more to be learned, then there's not, there's more than I need to say. So isn't, it's part of it is living life and going through different things and whatnot, and just having the time, of course. And I really want to be a positive asset in people's lives. So there's a lot of stuff that I've picked up and learned. I'm going to be sharing that. I'm starting to post again. So I hope that you all will just forgive my lack of posting. I had to work on a few things. I had to see a few things, and I'm building some things. So it's taking me a little bit of time. I'm coming back, and there's a few things I wanted to show you. So one of the things that I want to talk about today, and I'm finding this more and more, is the fact that Quaxosadov. Oh, okay. How you doing? How you doing? Am I saying your name? Qaxa? Quaxa? How you doing? So one of the things I want to say today is, it's interesting how your mind is really a reflection of your reality. I've been noticing it with other people and myself. Hey, from Italy. What's going on, brother? How you doing? It's really interesting how your mind is a reflection of your reality. You can have two different people and they'll look at something. One person will look at it from a positive aspect, and another person will look from a negative aspect. I've been studying this book called Reality Transurfing. And I'll share in the future some things that have happened to me, but it's been crazy, man. I mean, it's like, stuff that's unbelievable has happened as a result of my thinking. And one of the main things that I've learned, and feeling, because in the manifestation groups, they always talk about what are you thinking, what are you visualizing? But, Neville Goddard said the feeling. Well, the whole thing is you have to put three things together. You have to put your thinking, your feeling, and your actions. And if you want harmony in your world, you have to line your mind with your heart and your actions. If your heart tells you not to do something, but you do it, then you're not in alignment. If your mind tells you to do something and your heart tells you not to do it, then you're not in alignment. If, the heart is probably the most important thing because it's intuitive and it connects in a magnetic circular kind of way. You're always projecting your feelings and your energies with your heart. As a matter of fact, your aura is led by your heart and then your mind. So both of these create your aura, and by having your aura, which is your magnetic field, we're not talking any woo-woo stuff here. What if I have a shadow here? If if your whole energetic being is not in alignment, the universe knows it. And if you're not in alignment with the law, the universe knows it. So that's the first thing is understanding what is it your mind is saying to your heart. You have them talk together. The mind represents the masculine energy, the heart represents the feminine energy, and the action represents the birth of those two energies. So when you have all of this in alignment, miracles start to happen. This is what I'm learning. There's a book, I'm always saying there's a book, but there's a book called Reality Transurfing. If you get your hands on that book, and I'm doing it by audiobook. I just listen to it. I listen to, and chapter 18 is hot. That's the chapter, but if you can get your hands on that book or get the audio book of that, I listen to it on Audible. I would do that. A lot of things have come together for me in the last year, 6 months. And I'll share those things at some other time. I don't think I want to share them right now, but I will share them. I'm going to give you a few books beside you, Reality Transfer. We're going to talk about that. But the thing you will look at and realize that whatever your mind is saying, whatever your heart is saying, if you're like your feelings are mad, if you're in your feelings, you're going to probably have a bad day, because however you're feeling, the universe picks up on it. If you say, man, this is a terrible day, the universe says, okay, this is a terrible day. You know, if you say, this is an interesting pathway to where I want to go, so it appears that you're failing. But if you really believe the law works, and it does, then you'll understand that maybe you need to fail to go through this pathway to get to where you're going. You know, you need to go this particular route. Thank you so much, JAKCK. Thank you. The universe will take you maybe on a back street, and you say, this back street is horrible, but it's a shortcut. Or it'll take you on the back street and it's a long way. This is a long way. I don't want to go a long way. I want to go the shortcut, but you'll learn something along the way. That's one of the things that I've learned in the last 6 months to a year. I kind of knew this, but to really put it into, you know, putting your so-called boots on the ground, right? That's when you really find out. And all of these books and these things, principles and classes and all these things, they're fine and dandy. But the thing you want to do is take them and put them boots on the ground. You want to see if they work. And I'm telling you, this trans-serving thing is amazing. Now, the thing about it is what they talk about is something called outer and inner intention. We're going to look at it like this. They say that the world is a mirror, and your thoughts are reflected in that mirror. So if you have a situation you want to change, they say the first thing you have to do is change your mind and make it work from within. Now, most people will say, well, I have to go put my hands directly on it. And that does work, but if you do both of those in tandem, if you line your mind up, what are you going to do? Your heart up, and see if your heart is in agreement with your mind, and it resonates, and then your actions resonate with that, and they move in the right way, then it's cool. The thing is, yeah, it really is, the world is like a mirror. It's just reflecting back to you what you really are. A lot of people won't like that, they won't agree with it, but it reflects to you what you really are. If you're a nice person, and keep working on that, and keep, being positive and keep being focused, you will break through and you will meet nice people. You will meet positive people. If you're an evil person, then eventually you will meet evil people. Because birds of a feather flock together. This is an old saying, but you attract basically You do attract what you are. You don't attract opposites. Opposites do not attract. People say opposites attract. No, they don't. What attracts is are the same things. If you're hanging around people who are into nefarious activities, you will attract nefarious results. If you hang around people who are benevolent, then you'll attract benevolent results. A tree, like the book says, by your fruits you shall know them. And in my practice Buddhism, we talk about cause and effect. So everything has an effect and everything has a cause. You are the cause of your life. And if you look deep enough, you will look, and the wise man will look and see, and look deep enough, you'll see where the causes are in certain situations that you've come across. Even though it looks like even though it looks like a bad situation, if you continue to work through it, that's what really the alchemy is, and believe that the laws, you don't have to believe, actually, you know that the laws work, an apple tree can only produce apples. So if you continue to, be the light, and walk your path, you will see whatever it is you need to see. You will get the results. I've seen it, and I'm starting to understand it over and over and over again. You can transmute your world basically by the way you think. The older books, they never explained it this way, but it is, technically, you're looking at a mirror. Now, I'll give you an example, and this is something I've said before, right? If you look at a star up in the sky actually is not what you're looking at. You're looking at the light that's been traveling for millions of years, supposedly. For all my flat earthers out there, maybe you have something different to say, but regardless, if you're looking at a star and you see that light coming at you, that light is old, okay? If you're looking at things outside of you, like I'm looking at my car, I'm looking at these trees now, those are old manifestations. If you're looking at your situation where you may, in your relationship, it may be vibing a certain way that you don't like, you're looking at your old thoughts, because these are manifestations of your old thoughts. So what people will continue to do is they will continue to try to fix it physically, or they'll try to, oh, maybe I should buy her some flowers, or maybe I should make him dinner or something like that, or whatever it is, right? They'll do that, but the situation will continue the same. The reason why it stays the same is because you have not changed. What you need to look at is your thinking and your feeling. You have resentment toward that person, if you have anger toward that person, that will manifest as a vibration. Trust me, I know. And they will feel it, and you'll get the same thing back. If you disrespect a person, if you don't give them attention, they will give you the same thing back, because you can only grow what you've planted. So the thing about it is that you look at this situation, and if you change your attitude and change your thinking about it, and you change your energy, and then you change your actions. If your actions and your thinking and your heart, your feelings, and your actions line up, then it will change. If you change your actions, but you don't change your thinking or your energy, then it will not change, because actions are temporary, unless they are manifested through thoughts and feelings. Okay, because people will feel as though it's not genuine what you're saying. So that's one of the things, is your mind is a mirror. And this is the lesson. The lesson is, to master reality, you must master yourself. They always say this: know thyself, The kingdom of heaven is within. Nietzsche shows you. They say, your reality is the mirror, basically. So whatever you're looking at is something you created, is in the past. Now what you have to do is create something new. If you don't like where you are or what you're doing, you create something new. You don't continue to work on a work that's done already. I mean, you may make adjustments here and there, but what you do is you start a new work. And the works and all things that are created come from you, come within you. And this is something that you don't have to believe what I'm telling you. You can try it for yourself. See it for yourself. Experiment, see if it works. When you go into work Monday, off of this holiday, go in and have a smile on your face, Now, here's the question. Suppose like your coworker and your supervisor are really negative, right? Well, there's something in reality transurfing called a pendulum. What a pendulum does is they gather energy from stealing it from people. And it could be the place you work, it could be your supervisor, it could be a family member, it could be the television set, it could be, this political situation we're in right now. But there's a saying, like the old people say, don't let anything steal your joy. That's what that means, right? So pendulums have a tendency, and what they do is they steal people's energy. It's interesting because I'm thinking about reality transfers, and I'm thinking about a book called The Celestine Prophecy, where they talk about there are three types of people. There are people who give you energy, there are people who are neutral to your energy, and there are people that steal your energy. And say like a news broadcast, they have negative stuff and they want you to get on board. If you're a negative personality, you'll be drawn to that, and that's what you'll continue to manifest, right? But if you're a positive personality or positive energy, it may repel you, and you look at what you need to know about the news and then go somewhere else. Some people just wallow in the mud. They love to wallow in the mud. So some people, I know some people that someone will cut them off in traffic. And this is 3 weeks ago, and they're still talking about it, talking to their friends. Oh, this person cut me off in traffic, la, 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 right? And I won't judge those people, but I'll learn from them. I'll say, okay, when did I do that? I had an incident in the gas station where a guy cut in front of me at the pump. And I was talking about it a day and a half later. I'm like, okay, I need to cut that. That was my lesson, right? And I cut it, and the day went on, and the sun kept shining, and the birds kept singing, and it was all lovely. It was all beautiful, I had a great day. So a little incident like that can destroy your day. That's what I mean about being in the right frame of mind. It's how you look at a situation. Like my dad used to say, it's not what happens to you, it's how you accept it. So again, if you had failure after failure after failure after failure, then but you keep going and believe you're going to get what you need to get, you'll get it. You just have to believe that the universe, or whatever you want to call it, the God force, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the Dharma, whatever, the law, always works. And it does always work. If you keep at it, it will work. So that's one of the main things I wanted to share with you guys. And we're going to talk more about this. That reality transurfing book is the bomb. I would definitely pick that up if I were you guys. It's a great book. Some of the other things that I wanted to share with you are there's a book. There's an old book. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, right? And I may have talked about it before, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. They found this is an old plastic surgeon, and he he found that by changing people's inner and outer, that their world would change. So the relationship between how they saw themselves in the mirror. So he would do something to them plastically, surgic, and improve their appearance. But they would see themselves differently in the mirror, and it would be like a biofeedback thing. So they would have gain more confidence, whatever. So however you perceive yourself, if you say to myself, well, I'm not attractive, then that's what the energy you'll put out. You say to yourself, I'm on top of this, I'm the bomb. And you make actions that are on top of it and the bomb, and you feel like you're on top of it and you're the bomb, and you got your mind together, you can't help but succeed. The Psycho-Cybernetics, this is a good book. This is old school. It's a good book. It's a good read. Also, it's a book by Henry Thomas Hamlin. That's what his name is. But I think it's William Walker Atkinson, the guy that they say wrote The Rebellion. It's called Dynamic Thought, and you can get it in collections. And what it talks about is exactly what I'm talking about. Is how do you create this aura, this energy? How do you master your reality by your thinking? You can walk into a room and people just feel it right away. There'll be people drawn to you based on your energy. I don't know if any of you have experienced that, and look at the people you attract. That's very important, because look at the people and your mindset, what was going on when you attracted those people. This is for my ladies too. Look at the guy that comes up to you and talks to you, and think about your mindset, right? A lot of ladies will say, I can't find anybody. A lot of guys will say, I can't find anybody. There are almost 8 billion people on this planet. And I'm going to give you an idea of how much a billion is. So if you had 1,000 minutes or $1,000 and you spent that every day, it would take, I think, 32 years to spend all of your money if you're a millionaire, just $1 million. If you were a billionaire, or you're a person who had billions, if you spent $1,000 for a day, you wouldn't run out of money until 2,700 years later. That's a lot. So that shows you how many people are on this planet. And we'll talk about male, female, or whatever it is, or whatever you're attracted to. But the point is, there are a lot of options, right? And if you're in the right frame of mind, I'm telling you, you can connect with anybody, anywhere. If you have the right energy, because people will show up, and they just pop up and show up. I've got some stories about that too, but we'll talk about that another time. I'll give you an example. So, dynamic thought. It teaches you how to be a dynamic energy in the sea of, they talk about this ether, how to be a dynamic energy in the sea of ether, and how to radiate your frequency, right? Now the next two books, I'm going to talk about the basic universal practices, healing practices of the Tao. This is Mantak Chia. And these are all of levels 1 through 6. And I got the whole book because he's got a bunch of books, but these are his basic practices for inner working of energy. Circulating what they call it the microcosmic orbit, right? Again, working from within and working this energy and using your sexual energy and life force and bringing it and circulating. We're going to get into this too. I'm so excited to talk about this with you guys, but we'll talk about it another time, right? But again, it's working from within, right? Very sensitive subject, like the pornography. If you were masturbating with pornography, there's a frequency that you give off, and people will know it, especially men. um, it's a kind of negative frequency that women will pick up on. I've known people that have a hard time with women because, they engage in this, right? But the most primal, most powerful energy you have is energy to create as a man or woman, but a man mostly. And your sexual energy is your jing. It's the thing that keeps you basically moving on this earth. If you cannot master it, then you're out of control. Then then the world will say he can't master that, so he might have issues. You'll probably run into a ditch or hit the rocks. We see people in the news that have abused this sexual energy, and you see what happens. It will catch up with you. And I mean abuse it. I mean use it with a negative spin on it. Energy is energy. Energy is neither good nor bad, but it's what you put on it. It's your intention. Just like a knife. A knife can usually you cut your bread and make your dinner, or it could cut and hurt another person. So again, it's about your headspace. It's where your heart space is. Working with this energy. Okay. But this book deals with energy practices that circulate the energy through the body. Mantak Chia, that's Mantak Chia. Guy's a master. He's probably masters on this planet. He's amazing with the energy. He has classes in Thailand. One day I probably want to go. He has, how to use the energy to heal the body and all kinds of things. Really interesting. And this is the original practice of Kung Fu or Kung Fu, where they would have something called Iron Shirt Kung Fu, where they would develop the inner organs before they even start doing the practice. They would develop the inner organ we call the iron shirt. So if somebody punched you, it's like you had a piece of armor on. They can make their skin really hard and strong and everything. And also by hitting boards and all that kind of stuff, or hitting dummies or whatever they do. But you learn to develop your inner organs. So you may have a man who's 90 who has the organs of a 30-year-old because he's learned to circulate the energy. It also does something to your mind that gives you greater discipline. This is a great book. It's one of the inner arts. The next book I'm going to show you is Internal Healing Exercises by Chang, Stephen T. Chang, right? And this book, I got this book. You can get this book relatively cheap. Look around Amazon, look around eBay. I'm giving away one of my secrets. You can probably get this book for like $6. It is worth it, okay? And there are exercises that you can do, right? If you work out, then you should probably do this as well, because it will help. These are, again, exercises that help develop the organs of the body. You could be weak on the outside. Your muscles could be really strong, right? But if you're weak on the inside, that's like, that's like a car not having a good engine. So this is a good book as well. And the last one I want to talk about is, I'd like to talk about this one. And this is called A Stellar Man by John Baines. And this is a part two in a book. One is called The Secret Science, but this is part two. And this deals with the Kabbalion. And it deals with practical applications of the Kabbalion. Very practical. So it's more so knowledge and wisdom. The Kabbalion is like knowledge, but this is wisdom and understanding, because you get to apply, right? John Baines, you get to apply what you've learned in the Kabbalion, which is gold. Well, I said like three books that I think that are the center of my libraries. One is the Kabbalion, the other is Reality Transurfing now, and the other is the Lotus Sutra. And Reality Transurfing, well, the Kabbalion shows you the laws. Reality transurfing shows you how to use the understanding of the law or the wisdom of the laws. And Lotus Sutra is an application of how to work with cause and effect. So this is one of my first lives. And honestly, I see we have Roman. Would I go to a Diddy party? No, sir. But I'm gonna tell you something. As a musician, I've been in situations where I've seen things like that, and I walked out the room. As a musician, you get to see all kinds of things. But see, you see what happens to people who indulge in those type of things and drugs and all that type of thing. You see people's careers go down and everything. So, Balanced Body Fitness, how you doing, brother? How's it going? All right, we here. So, but anyway, I don't know. I'm really trying to figure out how this live thing works. And I'm glad that you all are on here. I appreciate you all, taking the time to pop in and everything. So I'm gonna start up again, and I wanted to share those books with you and what's going on. There's a lot of things going on with me, and to the point where my plate wasn't full. The floor around my plate was full. And when you ask for it, it shows up. It shows up. I'm like, I asked for this, I asked for that, and it showed up, and then everything shows up all at one time. It's like you have to be ready for it. The old story I say is like, suppose President Obama wanted to fly to this island, or the president wanted to fly to an island. And they have an airport, but it's too small to take Air Force One. And the only way he's gonna go there is that plane. So they would have to build a runway so that it accommodate a plane. If you want the Olympics in your city, you're gonna have to build a stadium to accommodate the Olympics. So the thing is, that's what I mean by being congruent on the inside and outside. So if you want to be, I don't know, an anesthesiologist, then you go to school to be for anesthesiology, because what you're doing is you're building the infrastructure externally, right, to support when that opportunity comes to you. So you have to build the external infrastructure. That's the outside intention, but the internal intention is greater. You have to maintain the integrity of your positive mind and your positive feelings. If you don't, then the thing collapses, because the universe will say, oh, he doesn't believe it. So, and your actions have to align with your feelings. If your actions don't align with your feelings, then you have trouble. If you're in a relationship and you ain't feeling that person, then you need to let them go. Oh, it's Brother Travis. Warrior's Way Home. Yeah, I can't wait I'm going to be on a broadcast with the Warrior's Way Home. If y'all haven't seen Warrior's Way Home, these brothers are amazing. They're doing some amazing things. I think they're on the Instagram. If you guys could put your Instagram up on the screen and let people see what it is, that would be great, Travis. Travis, put your Instagram up on the screen, put your YouTube channel, all that stuff up on the screen so people can see what you're doing, man, because you're doing some fantastic stuff. And I look forward to meeting with you guys and having the podcast. But that's what it is. Your actions, everything has to line up. You have to check yourself and see if stuff lines up. If you ain't getting the results, then something's not lined up. If you, like I said, if you in a relationship and this woman you have is fine, is all get out, right? Of course, that's the outer mirror. But if she's not clicking the heart, if she's not, and your mind tells you, man, I can't listen to her talk. I know every man out there has been in that situation, man. You're looking at this fine woman and the stuff that come out of her mouth is crazy, right? Right? So anyway, so you look and it's a judgment. I don't like to judge, but I'm saying it doesn't line up with what your values are. You know what you want to do. That's not the one. And you know it's not. And see, another thing is too, you know when something's not the one for you. You know when something is not good for you. One of my friend's mothers, she from the South, she's an older lady, she said, you know, sometimes what's good to you ain't good for you. I was like, man, okay. And I'm trying to remember that situation where that was, but that was something that really stuck with me. So you know if something is good for you when it lines up for your heart. Like the person who mentioned this Diddy party, right? So some of them stars, they looked around and said, man, you know what, this ain't happening. This ain't for me, right? Yep. Sometimes you look around and say, man, this ain't for me. This is not for me. And you know it, right? This is not in alignment with what my mind is setting up and my heart is setting up, right? Situation is not working. Your heart will never lie to you. But what you have to do is listen to it. Your heart will never lie. Unequally yoked. Absolutely. That's right. That's what you equally yoked. People think it means a man and a woman. But technically, we can get deep with the alchemy here. There's something called the chemical marriage where you have both the feminine energy and the masculine energy. The feminine energy deals with the heart. The masculine energy deals with the mind. And when you put the mind and heart together, what you have creation. So what happens is, if your mind tells you, makes a plan, okay, this is what we're going to do, blah, X, 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 X. Plan looks good. It's perfect, right? The heart says something wrong. This is like the ladder's up on the wrong wall. We're supposed to be on this wall over here. Like, you know, my mother says, I got to go to school to be an accountant because accountants make money, right? But you really want to be a photojournalist, right? So you spend 4 years of your life in college becoming an accountant, right? Which is not bad. I mean, you can have that, you know. I'm sort of in agreement with Eddie Murphy to a degree. He said, burn your ships. You have to burn your ships. I kind of agree with that. You can use the accounting thing to get you where you want to go or whatever you want to do, but understand that's not your ultimate objective. When I went to school and studied business, right? Because the music department wasn't working out. But it was the best thing I ever did when I left the music department because I got a better teacher, a music teacher, private teacher. He taught me way more than that music department was going to teach me. And I was studying business. So, and I said to him, what do you think about me taking business? He says, it's great. You're going to need it. And he was absolutely right. You can always use business. You can always use accounting. But understand that that is not the end point of your journey. Now, see, a lot of times people forget, you know, where they want to go. You might have to work and compromise with the heart. If the heart tells you no, you have to really listen to it. You know, let me see, I got a little bit of sun in here. I hope it's not bothering you all a little bit. Maybe I can move it over a little bit over here. Get it out the way so there's too much sun. There we go. It's a little better. Okay. Oh, these went dark here. There we go. So that's the thing is, you know whether something is not working for you, right? You know when your life is not in harmony. If your life is not in harmony, then something's not working for you. If you don't like where you stand, then move. If you don't like the people around you, then get some new people around you that align with what you're trying to do. You know, another example is when I was a kid, and that was a little different. Because I would go, I was like 16 going to parties. Of course, I would dance and everything, do everything like everybody else did. But it was one point I sat down at this party and I'm looking around and thinking, what is this kind of a waste of time, man, a little bit, you know? I mean, I could do this sometime, but I don't want to do this too much, right? Um, the objective is to be moving in a direction that the heart and the mind have laid out. Now, when the heart and mind are in conflict with each other, um, the heart can detect things that the mind doesn't see. The mind sees everything on paper. It sees how I lay out everything. And sometimes the heart will do something illogical. It's illogical, it doesn't make any sense. But let me explain. Like, for instance, a husband and wife are driving in a car. The man says, this is the way we're going to get to such and such and such and so. This is the correct way. Wife says, don't go this way. Man says, why? She said, I can't explain to you, don't go this way, right? So a wise man might listen to his husband, his wife, excuse me. A wise man might listen to his wife, right? The woman will listen to the husband, the man will listen to his wife. And the wise thing to do would be listen to each other, because it's been proven the heart can, because of its magnetic, it creates a magnetic fields, and the mind creates an electric field. So magnetism and electricity create, right? So a woman's heart can feel things thousands of miles away. You've heard of stories where a woman's sitting in her room and she feels it when, you know, her husband is at war, and she can feel that he's not here anymore. You hear about that kind of stuff all the time, because a woman's feelings are deep. And as men, we need to really respect, you know, when a woman says something, I feel this, you know, and she's connected to you, she's, you know, you're all vibing and everything, and she trusts you, and you trust her, you know what I mean? You have this thing, right? You have to trust her. You know, women will say, I don't trust this business deal with this guy, you know? Why? I don't know. And I've seen that happen over and over again, and the woman is right. So that's the heart speaking to you. And if you trust a woman has the wisdom, and it's divine wisdom. The man has the knowledge, divine knowledge. If you trust a woman, and that's what the name Sophia means. We'll get into Sophia later, because that's the Gnostic scriptures. We'll talk about that. But anyway, so I'm going too far. But anyway, so that's why the man and woman need to work together. And she could be the greatest thing that you ever had in your life, because she will, based on her feelings, you know, show you some things. You know, women are intuitive, they're clairvoyant, as they say, women are psychic, and a lot of them are, you know. I've got women in my family that they've had dreams, and you could bet your life on it. If she says don't step on that plane, you better not step on that plane. No joke. And they're not older women either, a lot of younger ones too. So that's what the heart is, right? The mind, of course, you lay the groundwork, and you know you build, and everything, and it's just that the harmony has to exist. You know, as above, so below, where you know you have the divine and the emotions and the feelings, and you have the concrete thing. If these things work in harmony, it manifests. That's what the triangle represents. The triangle represents the man and the woman coming together like this, and they connect, right? And it creates, you know, the actions create physical reality. So this is an action, right? And it goes to the square, and the square is representative of physical reality. So the square is the result of man and woman connecting, which is the bottom part of the triangle, and the square is manifested. So I hope I'm not talking a hole in the side of your head, but it's a long time since I've seen you guys, so I just wanted to say a few things. But anyway, we're gonna start up again, you know, and I would, you know, I'm really looking to build this channel And I would deeply appreciate, anyone that subscribes. Again, I'm not somebody that posts every day. I think I'm going to have to start posting weekly at least, because I want to build a channel. I want this channel to do some things. I wanted, a lot of people to experience what I'm saying. It would be very, I think it would be something that I would really appreciate if people were to look at it, and maybe they could take some of my little drops of jewels or wisdom or whatever I have here. And I'm very humble about it, because there's a lot of YouTube channels out here, but I think because my perspective on the world is a little different, I think I might have some different things and different perspectives of what to say. And like I said, if you like what you're hearing here, then I would appreciate your energy, your love, your subscription, your feedback. Thanks a lot. Balanced Body Fitness, brother. Yeah, brother Travis. Okay, it says some people don't trust themselves enough to be able to trust anyone else. Appreciate your knowledge, brother. You have so much to teach us all. YouTube needs you. Thank you, brother. You think your YouTube needs me? Oh, man, I don't know, need me maybe, but I love you all too, man. Yeah, that's true. If you don't listen, that's one of the things they do say in the book. If you don't love yourself, or you don't think, I'm attractive, or I'm, intelligent, or I'm witty, or I'm clever. If you don't think those things, and you won't project them. You're creating this. Actually, you are a blank slate. You are a blank canvas, right? You could be anything. Now you say, well, brother Taylor, could I be an NBA player? Well, you probably have to have the physical skills for that, right? But not NBA. Maybe you could be, CYA league or something, whatever. You could be, Catholic league or something. And maybe that's not your mission. You think it might be your mission, but if it doesn't line up a certain way, maybe it's not your mission, And another thing too is if you move, there's a dog in the dog park. If you move a certain way, the universe will give you clues as to whether this is the right way to move, right? It'll open doors for you. Like you'll see something, and it's funny, I was driving down the road and I said something about it's all good. And then I saw something that said, it's good. I was like, okay, that's confirmation. You'll know when you're moving in concordance with the law, because the energy and everything. If you don't trust yourself, and you trust the divine voice within you, you won't trust others. And that's the mirror. It's a projection. You hear people talking about, oh, he's projecting. Like, there's certain politicians they'll say, this person is not intelligent, or this person is this, or this person is that. And if you look at them, they exhibit that behavior because they're projecting what they think about themselves. And here's another thing. So this is why you want to remain positive. Because if I'm projecting, I love this person. I love this person. Peace to you, brother. Peace to you, sister. Then that thing comes back to you because it's a mirror. And everything is light. I was talking about the stars and everything. Everything you see, technically, is vibrations of light. So if you are projecting a negative light, then it comes back to you because it's a mirror, right? You think of, from this day on, if you think of everything, this is a mirror. Everything's a mirror. It's a mirror of my feelings. It's a mirror of my thinking, right? Watch and see what happens to you. So I'm going to get out here, and I'm not going to make ugly faces in the mirror. I'm going to make beautiful faces in the mirror. I'm not going to criticize and say negative things in the mirror. I'm going to say positive things. Yeah, I love you, man. I love you. You're amazing. We're going to do this, right? If you put these things and you think of the world as being a mirror, right? Watch what happens. I'm not going to say it. Don't criticize people. If you criticize them, be very careful. Don't tear people down. Don't be negative. Don't be destructive to people, because it will come back on you. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. Okay. Um, Sometimes the most valuable lessons you get are not in a book. Those lessons are what you live in your life. And when you see things and you go, man, what happened? You see, oh, I exhibited that behavior, and that's what happened, right? So yeah, I've talked. How long? It's almost an hour, man. I probably could talk like this forever. But anyway, I'm going to let me see what we got going here. Okay, so I'm learning how to do this. So I think I'm going to get off of here and tell y'all to have a great day. I was trying to post something, but I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get this together, and I'm going to be posting more. Yeah, Brother Travis, karma is undefeated. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Water either hot or cold, and it could be anywhere in between, but it's something, right? Karma is like electricity. If I stuck my finger in some water and I stuck it in an electrical socket, I guarantee you're gonna have some kind of reaction. It's a law, right? There are ways you may be able to bend the law, but you won't. It appear that you're breaking it, but you won't be able to break it. You can work with the law. If you change your mind, then it's the law. Then the law will then things change. When you see people that are like doing magic things or whatever, and I'm not talking about necessarily like magicians, like who magicians, but people that just appear magical. They just, they are working within the laws, but they're using things to circumnavigate certain things. That's in the Kabbalion, right? Like I told my friend, we were going somewhere. I told him, I said, listen, I said, she's like, oh, we not gonna get a parking space in front of us. This is gonna be too crowded, la la la. I said, okay, change your thinking, and let us get in alignment, right, about what we gonna do. I said, we're gonna have a parking space, and it's gonna be right in front of the venue. She said, okay, let's do it. We pull up, park space right in front of the venue, right? I was in Walmart. I was carrying some things around. I was, because I didn't want to be bothered with a cart or whatever. I just want to go up and roll. And I said, man, you know what? I got too many items, man. I need a cart. And I was way from the front, right? I was not near the front of the store. I walked around the corner. There was a cart. It was empty. And nobody was using it. None of the employees were using it. It was right there. This is how this law works. A lot of people think, oh, it's magic, it's woo-woo, all this kind of ooh, woo-woo. No, what it is a reflection of your thinking. Whether it works faster or whether it works slower. If you're working on a higher frequency, it'll work faster. If we're on a lower frequency and something that's really bigger, it may work slower. You can manifest stuff really quick. I'll tell you a story about my car, but that's another story. But things work on a frequency. So what kind of frequency are you putting out? Are you putting a low frequency? A low frequency is like negativity and all that kind of thing? Or are you putting at a high frequency? More positive and the negative elements in the world don't understand how they can connect with the divine and use that energy or work with that energy, because you are that energy when you connect, when you're with the divine. They don't understand, and you connect with divine with your mind and your heart first by emanating the positive frequency. If you're emanating a light, then you get back light. If you're shutting off darkness, you get darkness in front of you. If you don't have any light, you're not going. If you're dark, you're going to have darkness in front of you. If you have light, you're going to have light in front of you. You're going to be able to see. It's common sense. So that's a good point. Facts. I tell people not to say things they don't want to happen, because what you fight for, you get to keep. Exactly. And the whole point of this whole thing is you don't have to fight. You don't have to fight. All you got to do is walk the road. You don't have to fight for anything in this world. Or you have to fight and all that kind of thing. What you have to be able to do is endure. And you go through things in this world, and you'll have negative energy and negative people. You will. And it's almost like a test. And what you have to do is be able to endure. And understand that this negative energy is going to give you something that you're going to need down the road, right? The negative experiences that I've had, I need to have them because I can share them with you. If I didn't have a story, then you wouldn't listen to me. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't have something to say, you wouldn't listen to me. Even the little stories, there's big stories too, you know. And I'm still walking this path, and you know, I'm still learning, I'm still living. You know, it's really interesting because whatever you focus your mind on is you get. And I realized something. We'll say, well, why, Philip, why don't you have millions and millions of dollars? And what I realized was I wasn't focusing on really the money. The things I focused on, I got. You know, I got guitars that are worth, you know, I don't even talk about it, but, you know, because I love the music. I was working in the music. I have my equipment. I have everything that I need, but I never really focused, and that's really crazy. You know, my focus has been on enlightenment and spiritual energy and learning how the universe works. And that's what I got. I got a lot of that because that's what my focus was on. And that's proven to me. Now, you know, I'm trying to focus on all of it because, you know, you learn from working with the physical reality. And then people don't believe you. You know, I don't have a Lambo sitting in front of my place right here, but I never really wanted a Lambo. I just want a car that works and get me from point A to point B. And maybe I can get a Lambo later on, but you know, if I don't have one, I don't have one. I don't care about it. So, yeah, I'm talking a lot on here. Okay, it says, example, people say my anxiety, my PSTD, right? Right, exactly. You know, like when parents will bring their children to me and they want to study, well, my child is a learning deficient. I say, I don't see a deficiency. I say, they can learn, right? Yeah, they can learn. Okay, well, there's no deficiency. You know, whatever you claim is what you're going to get. If you think, you know, oh man, you know, I'm going to give you an example. A lot of like the big sisters, right? They have the body positivity movement. I think it's a good thing. And the thing is, if you want to change yourself, you want to change your body, if you have the pounds on, you want to take it off, you don't hate your body. Because the minute you hate something, hating something will make it stay too. Hating something is giving it energy. You don't want to give something energy that you don't want. So you look at your body and you give it love, where it is right now, and then move toward whatever you want, right? Oh, Mo Wellness. Phil Taylor is the legend. Oh, thank you, brother. I thought John was the legend, but anyway, that's a joke. But anyway, so yeah, that's what the deal is, man. And you'll find that when you walk around with a smile on your face and you're happy, man. I walk in the mall, man, and walk wherever, and my friends are with me, man. Dude will say, hey, man, you want this? You know, you want this? And it costs money, you know. I give it to you for free. I want to give you an example. Went yesterday to the lawn place. A friend of mine was getting a lawnmower. I said, you didn't give the Ray blade with the lawnmower. They said, and I said, you know, we're older people. We're older people, And I said, he said, well, I give it to you for free. So, so people, you know, you get what you get what you put out. You get what you are. You know, um, and if you walk through the darkness, be the light. Be the light. You know, if you're around dark people, be the light. They will. I'm telling you, man. They're either going to do one or two things. They're going to scatter like roaches, or they're going to say what? They're going to love it, or they're going to hate you for it. Right? But be the light anyway. And then the people that hate you for it, they'll disappear, and the right people will show up. But don't let anything that's external to you affect your internally. Don't let anything external, because this is the effect. Excuse me. This is the effect, right? Everything you're looking at are effects, but you are the cause. You understand that, and you have control of your situation. You are the cause. Don't let anything take you off your square, take you off of what you want to do with your life. I don't care if your parents tell you, you know, and you may listen to them, right? Listen to the wisdom. There may be some nuggets of wisdom in there. But if your heart tells you this is what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? And you really want to do it, you'll find a way to do it. You'll find a way to do it. And that's not a nugget. That's a gem right there. You know what's right. You know where you're supposed to go, where you're supposed to be. You know it. Don't fall for the okie doke. You know. Now another thing. This political climate. I'm going to say something about this later on in detail, but what I'm going to say is this. I know a lot of people around me, and I know people of all hues and all dimensions, all kinds of things, and experiences and everything. You know, Democrats, Republicans, you know, libertarians, whatever you want to call them, communists, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter. The thing is, I know people that are crying because of the present administration. They're crying, oh, I'm crying, oh, this guy, blah, 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 blah. The master will understand it has nothing to do with you. What you do is you bring the light for others, right? And make them feel good, make the energy good. And if we had 1,000 people in the room and they were all bringing the light, all of them, and understood what they were, we can move this planet. You know, that's the way you do it. You don't do it by complaining about what you see in front of you. What you do is you bring the light, you bring the positivity, the feeling, compassion and love, and the actions, right? If you fight something, it gets energy. Now, you fight it in a different way. You know, you fight it in a different way. You go to a higher frequency, you know, and you master yourself. Don't let anything throw you off of what you want to do. My dad used to say, you know, don't ever let anything worry you. It shouldn't worry you, because worry is putting energy out that's not needed. And it's not what somebody says to you, it's how you accept it. You know, that's a real master. Somebody can just like, you know, like you see Bruce Lee, and the guy gets in his face and he's screaming and hollering, and Bruce Lee just look at him, right? The guy's trying to push his button, but Bruce Lee is not a master of the art, he's a master of himself. Right, energetic judo, exactly. You know, it's you're a master of yourself. You know, shout out to brothers Soul Immortal. You get a chance, you should merely look into that power circle, man. It's popping. One of the things that I heard him say one time was, if somebody gives me negative energy, I absorb it, I take it and use it, because it's energy, right? That's a form of alchemy, you know. And that's a master that can do that. A lot of people do not take negative criticism very well, you know. You know, and people tearing you down and all that kind of thing. It's really hard, y'all. I know it is, you know. And if you bring the light, a lot of people are not going to like it, man. The roaches and rats going to run, you know. And I'm not talking about them as people. I'm talking about their energy that they're bringing. They don't even know that they're bringing that kind of energy, you know. Didn't the book say, Father, forgive them for they don't know what they do? That's what they're talking about. Because people will do things, and they don't even know why they're doing. And these people are learning to be masters of their actions and their intentions and their thoughts and their feelings, right? So this little formula, your heart, your mind, and your actions is gold. You know, if you can keep yourself in a good headspace and keep your feelings so that you control them, oh, that's a big one. You'll watch and see what your actions will follow. You have to control your feelings. And I'm not talking about, you know, being like, you know, dead and just walking around, you don't feel nothing. I'm talking about, you know, you don't let the feelings drag you down the street like a horse. You ride the horse. You know? And, you know, your mind is like a map. You know, you don't let the map tell you everything. You got to use the feelings. Like if the horse is riding around the horse down the street, the horse smells something funny, you listen to the horse. Because the map tells you go straight ahead, the horse may be smelling something ahead. There may be a bear ahead that had killed something, and it can smell the blood, and it won't go there. A horse will smell something or know something intuitively and will take you away from the thing. You know? Anyway, I have talked an hour here. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to end this, but I hope you all have a magnificent week and a magnificent Sunday. And if you like what you're hearing here, you know, it would be appreciated if you would subscribe. I'm trying to hit that, and I'm not trying to do it. It's going to happen anyway. Trust me. There's no trying, right? You have to watch what you say. But I'm going to hit 1,000 subscribers, and there are many of you who will be with me and many who you won't, and it's okay, and I love you anyway. The right people will show up and the right things will happen and everything's beautiful. So anyway, y'all have a magnificent day, magnificent week, and I will see you later. Let me see how I'll do this here. Okay. Thank you, Balanced Body Fitness. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate that. Yeah, we all building, and you go subscribe to Travis's channel, and the body Balanced Body Fitness, and you subscribe to Travis, post your information on the chat for me, man, so we can know what it is, what your information is. Do that real quick, because I'm getting ready to get off of here, but do that real quick. I'm gonna let you do that. So yeah, you know what? The thing about it is, right, is try this for the week. Try this week. See if it works. And I'm going to come back. I think in the next couple of days I might post something or post a couple things. But we're gonna come back here maybe the next few days, or maybe the end of the week, and see what the results are of what we posting. Here's my little doggy. You want to say hi? Oh no, I know. Come on, you don't want to look. Okay, he don't want to say hi. There's two of them. He don't want to speak. Okay. So anyway, that's it. Y'all have a great week, and you will see me again. I'm gonna post soon again, and I appreciate whoever was in here listening. I appreciate y'all, and have a great week. And don't slay your dragons, ride them.